the Invesco S&P 500 Equal Weight ETF. RSP edged down 0.1%, while Direxon Nasdaq 100 Equal Weighted ETF. QQQE climbed 0.6%, both hitting record highs during the week. Biotech, metals, and energy sectors performed strongly, driven by selective gains. Chip stocks continued to excel, supported by memory plays and semiconductor equipment makers, reporting this week. The 10-year Treasury yield rose slightly to 4.24%, following an intraday spike to 4.31% on Tuesday. U.S. crude oil futures climbed 2.9% to $61.07 per barrel, mainly due to news of an armada of warships heading to the Middle East. IBD newsletters provide exclusive analysis and actionable daily insights for investors. Among growth ETFs, the innovator IBD 50 ETF. FFTY gained 2.9%, largely driven by gold positions. The iShares Expanded Tech Software ETF. IGV fell 0.6%, while VanEck Vector's Semiconductor ETF. SMH lost a fraction. Lam Research, KLA, and ASML are major holdings within the SMH ETF. The ARK Innovation ETF. ARKK fell 1.2%, while ARK Genomics ETF. ARKG rose 2.5% over the past week. Tesla remains the #1 holding across all ARK Invest ETFs. The SPDR S&P Metals and Mining ETF. XME rallied 5.9% last week, reflecting sector strength. U.S. Global Jets ETF. Jets fell 1.5%, tracking airline sector weakness. The SPDR S&P Homebuilders ETF. XHB dropped 1.7% over the same period. The Energy Select SPDR ETF. XLE climbed 3.15%, reflecting rising energy prices. The Healthcare Select Sector SPDR Fund. XLV advanced 1.1%, showing moderate sector gains. The Industrial Select Sector SPDR Fund. XLI sank 1.6%, with Caterpillar, Boeing, and GE Vernova as major holdings. This concludes our overview of major market moves and ETFs heading into this critical earnings week. Sunday morning indications show Dow futures modestly lower, reflecting cautious investor sentiment. President Trump's continued tariff threat on Canada has created market-moving news over the weekend. At the same time, risks of a government shutdown are rising toward the end of next week, adding uncertainty. Investors should remember that overnight futures activity doesn't always translate into the next day's market trading. Trump has warned of massive tariffs on Canadian goods if Prime Minister Mark Carney proceeds with a trade deal with China. In a Truth Social post, he threatened a full 100% tariff on all Canadian imports, sending waves through the markets. Recently, China and Canada agreed to reduce some tariffs focused on agriculture and electric vehicles. Just a week ago, Trump had supported Carney's efforts for a China trade agreement, highlighting a rapid policy reversal. The U.S. currently maintains a 35% tariff on Canadian goods, with exceptions under existing trade agreements. A full tariff on all Canadian products could disrupt the U.S. auto industry and raise energy costs significantly. Carney and Trump have exchanged sharp words in recent days, partly over Greenland-related issues. Last week, the stock market rally lost some ground, but demonstrated resilience in the face of volatility. Key indexes tumbled on Tuesday, following Trump's Greenland tariff threat, but rebounded as he backtracked on Wednesday. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq briefly fell below their 50-day moving averages, but finished back above their 21-day lines, near record levels. Small-cap stocks hit fresh highs before retreating on Friday. Dow Jones futures are set to open Sunday evening alongside S&P 500 and Nasdaq futures. This week, megacap earnings from Tesla, Microsoft, Meta Platforms, and Apple are in the spotlight. President Donald Trump has threatened a 100% tariff on Canadian goods if a trade deal with China goes ahead, a major reversal from last week. Meanwhile, the risk of a U.S. government shutdown has suddenly increased. Tesla, GE Vernova, and Boeing headline a busy week of megacap earnings, capturing investor attention. Last week, the stock market rally tumbled initially, but recovered to close slightly lower, despite President Trump's abrupt Greenland comments. Major indexes finished above key support levels. In addition to the megacaps, other notable earnings reports include SanDisk, Western Digital, Seagate Technology, KLA Corporation, Lam Research, ASML, Carpenter Technology, and Next Power. Many of these stocks, especially SanDisk and Lam Research, are extended. Microsoft, Meta, and Apple face challenges, but their guidance and capital spending plans will be key market drivers. Meanwhile, Boeing, GE Vernova, Next Power, Carpenter Technology, Caterpillar, and Tesla are in or nearby areas as they approach their results. The Federal Reserve meets this week, with a policy announcement expected Wednesday afternoon. Policymakers are expected to hold off on rate cuts until June, signaling cautious monetary policy. Next Power stock has secured a spot on the IBD 50, highlighting strong investor interest. Microsoft stock and KLA are recognized as IBD long-term leaders, signaling reliable performance over time. Dow Jones futures are scheduled to open at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, along with S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 futures.